We're going.
Welcome to another great take of the Gridiron Glory podcast. We're here to talk to you today about Green Bay versus Philadelphia in what was a very interesting football game. The first football game being played in Brazil in the Southern Hemisphere, as a matter of fact, um, in Sao Paulo. So a very interesting atmosphere that was. You certainly saw NFL fans from all over the globe, especially in Brazil. It's definitely nice to see how there was a wide variety of a culture there and a great fandom towards the game of football. Um, but yeah, the game itself. So this was a game between two NFC teams that recently came off of playoff seasons last season. You had Jordan Love in there versus Jalen Hurts. And honestly, in this football game, Jalen Hurts kind of looked a little bit shaky, kind of in that first half. You could definitely tell that he was definitely trying to get readjusted to the offense, trying to get readjusted to also having Saquon Barkley into that mix. So, of course, Saquon Barkley, what does he do? What does he do on his first NFL, or I'm sorry, his first game as an Eagles player? He goes out there, he gets 24 carries for 109 yards with 2 touchdowns, and that was just his rushing stats. Receiving, he even caught a touchdown, 1 for 23 yards, and the catching touchdown to me was honestly very impressive. How he was able to come up with it in a very athletic way on the side of the end zone there when he was being covered by two defenders. And Jalen Hurts kind of found like a thread in the needle there, but yet Saquon Barkley was still able to come down with that catch. So, Saquon is a guy who is going to come out here. He's going to provide plays game in and game out, game in and game out. And he's definitely the kind of player that, you want to have on your team, and especially with the dynamic offense that you saw with Jalen Hurts. And, it's also, one thing that I also noticed too, you could definitely notice the difference with the absence of Jason Kelsey and the new incoming center from Nebraska, Cam Jurgens, who Jason Kelsey specifically selected to be, Jason Kelsey made it a point to pick whom he wanted his replacement to be with Eagles management, everything like that. And he ended up selecting Cam Jurgens. So he thought that'd be a good fit, though you could definitely tell that there was some shaky moments from that offensive line, especially in the first half. But it definitely does seem that the Eagles were able to come together in that second half. And, obviously, A.J. Brown, a really great breakout game, 119 yards with a touchdown. And then Zach Bond, Reed Blankenship, and another impressive player, the rookie Kenyon Mitchell. I noticed, there was definitely some times where he made some explosive, big time plays. He had the 4 solo tackles in this game, but still, nonetheless, he also defended a couple of passes as well. And yeah, Kenyon Mitchell, he's a guy they drafted in the first round out of Toledo, and he's come out here so far in this defense, and he's proven, even just through one game, that he's going to be a contributor, and he's going to be a very solid fit on this Philadelphia defense, who certainly made it a point to go out in the offseason and add multiple pieces of their secondary. So, to me, it's just going to be a matter of what they're going to be able to decide and what they're going to be able to gel with, what they're going to be able to flourish with. Really going forward here with this new secondary. Overall, all in all, the game, that's just kind of really speaking from the Eagles point of view on things. And then with the Green Bay Packers, obviously, Jordan Love does go down in that second half there and gets replaced by Malik Willis.
Yeah, obviously a devastating start to the season for the Packers. I mean, you go over to Brasilia, play a very competitive game with a good Eagles team. So they came, they were resilient, and they made plays to stay in the game. But then on that last drive, they were sort of in a desperation mode trying to get the offense down the field quickly. And then your quarterback gets hit, and Jordan Love, and that's a significant injury for the Packers. And we're obviously hoping that it's not all that long term. He's going to miss a decent portion of time, but the less time he misses, the better. And in that time frame, it'll be up to Malik Willis to lead the offense. He's a guy that he's more of a rusher than a passer. He's still developing as a passer. So we're going to see what we get from him. He's a guy that very recently joined the Packers, so he's still getting acquainted to the offense. So we'll see how that adjustment goes. But if you look for the Packers in this game, I mean, you did get an impressive performance from Jaden Reed, your receiver, 4 catches, 138 yards and a touchdown, a 70-yard catch. So he's a guy that went out there, made plays. Your new running back, Josh Jacobs, had a respectable performance, 16 attempts, 84 yards. That's a fairly solid average. So he's a guy that went out there, and he's going to be their new lead running back with Aaron Jones in Minnesota now. So we're going to just see how he can gel. And it's going to be interesting to see what we get out of the Packers offense. I mean, they were really excited to see what they could get from Jordan Love in his second year as a starter. And now that's going to be delayed a bit with his injury. And that's the unfortunate part of football. But now it's time for somebody else to do what they can to step up, make plays. So Malik Willis will have a chance. It'll be interesting to see if any other quarterbacks are given a look. But for now, it looks like Malik Willis is getting the first chance. And then looking at their defense, a big game for Quay Walker and Javon Bullard, each with 11 tackles. So they had some defensive guys that stepped up, tried to make some plays against a very talented Philadelphia offense that can move the ball well, that can push the ball downfield. They like to run the ball a lot. They like to make big plays. And I thought the Packers defense for a decent portion of the game did well enough, but the Eagles, they just made the plays. So just a really impressive win to start the year for Philadelphia.
A very impressive win. You know, you obviously are pretty bummed out with the injury to Jordan Love in this scenario. So, to be honest with you, this is, Malik Willis, we knew him to be a guy out of Liberty, and we knew him to not get sort of the shot that he wanted to initially coming into the NFL. And I'm not necessarily saying that these next 3 to 6 weeks perhaps is like, Malik Willis is going to just go in there and take Jordan Love's job. No, but this is a chance for Malik Willis to develop himself, to now go out there and finally get a shot at being a starting quarterback in the NFL for multiple games. And he's, this could very well be an audition tape probably for some other teams in the future. So, I don't know if necessarily Malik Willis is bound to be a NFL starting quarterback by any means, but if he were to have any hopes or aspirations of attaining that one day, you would definitely want him to, he would definitely want himself to take full advantage of these next 2 to 3 games, maybe even more perhaps.
Yeah, he'll certainly get his chance. I mean, that's all anyone can ever hope for is a chance. And obviously, you don't want to see someone get hurt, but that's just the way of life in the NFL. When you have an opportunity, you have to do what you can to take advantage of it. And now Malik Willis is going to get his chance. He'll be starting this week for sure, and then we'll just see what happens moving forward. But it's going to be interesting to see how Malik Willis and the Packers offense responds around him. I mean, they have a lot of playmakers on this offense that we'll see what they get. We mentioned Reed, guys like Romeo Doubs, Christian Watson, some talented tight ends, guys like Kraft, Luke Musgrave. So he'll have a chance to be successful in an offense like this, and we'll just see if he can take advantage of it.
Absolutely. Yeah, Eagles win this game 34-29. Looking ahead for Green Bay, it does seem that they play against the Indianapolis Colts next week at Lambeau Field in Green Bay, Wisconsin. So it will be an interesting game to see if they're able to bounce back from this. And I mean, I probably would right now take the Colts on that matchup, but still, nonetheless, I mean, if Malik Willis can go out in front of his home fans and get the win against the Indianapolis Colts, I don't see that being anything but good things for them. And then they play at the Titans the week after that against the Vikings in a couple of weeks. So a lot of question marks for Green Bay these next 2 to 4 weeks.
Yeah, definitely some questions and concerns there with the quarterback situation, but they'll have a chance to compete. They have a well-rounded enough roster to give them a chance. And then you look at a team like the Philadelphia Eagles, and they go right into a Monday Night Football showdown with Kirk Cousins and the Atlanta Falcons this coming week at home for Philly. So it'll be their first game at home this year. So we'll see how they adjust and what they do against Kirk Cousins and the Falcons. Should be a slight favorite, I'd say, for Philly in that game, but that's a game that we'll just see how it goes.
Absolutely. Yeah, be sure to hit like, follow, and subscribe, and let us know what you think about the Gridiron Glory.